Krishna Hare Ram. Yes. Vayonita Gaura Radheshyam Japo Hare Krishna Hare Ram. Vayonita Gaura Radheshyam Japo Hare Krishna Hare Ram. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva bandhushka saka tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva sarvamam deva deva. Om Janjanati Miranda Syanjananjana Salakaya Chaksuru Militanjana Tasma Shri Gurave Namah. Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Book 1, Discourse 9. Yudhishthira and others call on Bhishma, and the latter drops his mortal coil, extolling Sri Krishna. Jai Ho. The following days we will be reading Srimad Bhagavatam as morning for India middle day readings. I hope to help and to please everyone who will watch this series. I am at the moment in Belarus reading in front of Radheshyam Lal for the pleasure of Nitai Gaur and the deities. So you are very welcome to this session. Sutta went on, Sri Sutta Uvacha, thus afraid of the wrong perpetrated against humanity, King Yudhishthira thereafter proceeded to Vinasan, the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where Devavrata Bhishma lay on his bed of arrows, seeking enlightenment about all sacred duties. 2. Thereupon all his celebrated brothers, Bhima and others, followed him, O holy Brahmanas, in chariots decked with gold and driving by excellent horses, as also the sage Vyasa, Daumya, the family priest of Yudhishthira and others. 3. Lord Sri Krishna himself, O Saunaka, rode in a chariot along with Dhananjaya, Arjuna, so called because of having fetched as a tribute from his enemies untold riches from Yudhishthira, thereby enabling him to perform his famous Rajasuya sacrifice, which earned him the title of emperor. Accompanied by them, King Yudhishthira shone brightly like Kuvera in the midst of Guyakas, Jaksas. 4. Perceiving Bhishma lying on the ground like a god falling from heaven, the Pandavas and their attendants, as well as Sri Krishna, made obeisance to him. At that time, O Saunaka, Brahmana, sages, celestial sages, and royal sages, all had assembled there in order to see Bhishma, the foremost of Bharatas. 6 and 8. Parvata, Narada, Dhaumya, the divine Balarajan, Vedavyas, Brihadasva, Bharatvaya, Parasuram, the son of Renuka, with his pupils, Vasistha, Indra Pramada, Trita, Gritsamada, Asita, Kakshivan, Gautama, and Atri, Vishvamitra, Sudarshana, and other holy sages like Brahmarata, Sukha, and even so Kasyapa, Angiras, and others arrived with their pupils, O Saunaka. Seeing those highly blessed souls assembled there, Bhishma, the foremost of the Vasus, a class of gods, who was well versed in the principle of right conduct, paid his respect to them due to regard to the occasion and place. 10. Bhishma was also acquainted with the glory of Sri Krishna, the Lord of the universe, who had sat before him in a personal form assumed through Maya, and was also enthroned in his heart, and he paid his homage to him. 11. Eyes blinded with tears of affection, Bhishma looked at the sons of Pandu, who sat beside him, full of modesty and love, and spoke to them as follows. 12. Mhm. Huh? How painful and how unjust it has been that you, the progeny of righteousness, and votaries of the Brahmanas, Dharma, and Lord Achyuta, Sri Krishna, should have lived a life of suffering which you sorely did not deserve. So it called. When the great warrior Pandu breathed his last, you were all tender of age, and my daughter-in-law Prita, along with you, her children, has to suffer many hardships on your account more than once. I believe that all your unwelcome experience were attributable to time providence, for the whole world, with its guardians deities, is ruled over by time, even as the clouds are by the wind. 15. Where King Yudhishthira, the son of Dharma, was the ruler, Bhima held the mace in his hand, Arjuna was the archer, and Gandiva the bow, and where Sri Krishna was the friend and well-wisher, to think of adversity even there. Indeed, 16. Indeed, no man, O king, can ever discover the intention of Sri Krishna. Even seers get bewildered in their seeking to find it out. 17. Therefore, knowing it for certain that all these events depends on the will of Providence, O chief of the Bharatas, follow his will, O ruler of men, and protect the helpless people, as you are their sole monarch. Sri Krishna is God himself. He is no other than the prime person, Lord Narayan, deluding the world by his Maya. He lives incognito among the Vrishnis, a branch of the Yadus. No one else other than Lord Shiva, the celestial sage Narada, and Lord Kapila himself, O Yudhishthira, know the most hidden glory of Sri Krishna, whom you think to be your cousin, maternal uncle's son, beloved friend and greatest well-wisher, and whom, out of affection, you made your counselor, envoy, and charioteer. 21. In him, who is the soul of the universe, who looks upon all with the same eye, is one without a second, and is free from egotism and blemishless. There can be no sense of diversity in regard to these divergent functions on any account. 22. Yet, O King, look at his compassion for those who are exclusively devoted to him, in that Sri Krishna has appeared in person before me at this hour when I am about to give up the ghosts. Ghost is also understand like spirit or the soul. 23. A yogi, mystic, who casts off his body with his thought fixed on him through devotion and chanting his name with his tongue is rid of all hankering and released from the bondage of actions. I would like to see this 1.9.23 shloka that reads, and chanting his name. I would like to know, let's check the Sanskrit, if there, what word is using for this. By Sankirtan, Kirtan, Harinam, Nama, what it reads. Yes, it reads that the one who keep his mind in the name. Titian. Yeah, in the name. It used the word name, Nama. Okay, 24. May the Lord, who is adorable even for gods and possessed of form arms, whose lotus-like countenance beams with gracious smiles and reddish eyes, and who appears to others only in their meditation, stay on here till I shuffle off this body. Actually, how lucky is to leave the body like this in front of Krishna, just like this. Very lucky. But in the other hand, what we have here is a double meaning because he's leaving the body and meditating on Krishna that is in front of him, but in the same time, he's meditating in the Lord of four arms, reddish eyes, so on. So he's speaking about Narayan.
It doesn't matter. This is his way.
Yeah.
It is good to learn body like we are to see Krishna in front of us.
Yeah. But if you are meditating in Narayan, then your destination will be Vaikuntha.
Yeah, of course.
No
Everybody
Vrindavan.
are meditating and their own meditation. It's just example how we should meditate. This is what I understand.
Yes, this is correct. Srimad Bhagavatam has like different approach, different ways to see everything. Sri Gauranga say that the Granta has so many different meanings. It's not only one meaning, so many different meanings. So in this case, for Vaishnavas, like normally for Vaishnavas or for Sanatanis to say, followers of Sanatan Dharma, when they study Srimad Bhagavatam, they can see Narayan, or see Narayan as expansion of Brahman, etc., etc. But in Gaudiya, we are focusing ourselves on the form of two arms, only Krishna. So everything is in the same time. It depends on the lens that you see. Your your bhav depends on the bhav of the sadhaka. 25. Sutta continue. Hearing this, Yudhishthira asked Bhishma, Even as he lay on his cage-like bed of arrows, questions concerning a variety of dharmas, sacred obligation of, or courses of conduct in the presence of the riches. 26. Thereupon Bhishma, who had realized the truth, discoursed upon, one by one, the various dharmas, duties determined by the innate disposition of men, and appointing with due regard to the varna, social grade, and ashram stage in life, and the twofold dharmas, the dharmas involving worldly activity, pravriti, and those marked with withdrawal from such activity, nivriti, severally recommend for those endowed with dispassion and those who are full of worldly attachment. The dharmas relating to charitable gifts, the duties obligatory of monarchs, the courses of conduct which are conducive to liberation, the duties of women, and the courses of conduct that are intended to propitiate the Lord, both briefly in and in detail. He also explained, O Saunaka, the four ends of human pursuit, viz. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, as well as the means to them in their true perspective with the help of many illustrative anecdotes and stories. 29. While he was thus discoursing on Dharma, there arrived the time when the sun changed its course toward the north, a time which is coveted by yogis who drop their body according to their pleasure. It's saying that the ones who have achieved siddha, the perfection in spiritual practice, does not matter which sampradaya or spiritual practice you are following, but when you achieve perfection and absolutely control on your mind and your body. It means that a real realized soul, a Mahatma, can choose when and where we leave the body. So, on my humble opinion, this is the proof of a real acharya, a real guru, because they will tell when and where they will leave the body. They are not dying out of old age, suffering, these kind of things. They say, tomorrow I go, tonight I go, etc., and they leave the body. This is the example that we see on the Radharaman Gang, Radharaman Parivar. Ramdas Baba Maharaj, he called in the night to his disciples and he say, start chanting kirtan because everything here is gone. For me, I go. Shakima is calling me. I go now. And they start chanting and he leave the body. Saying, Radharaman say, in this garden I will sit here, this. He give all the instruction and he sit in samadhi and left the body. This is the proof of somebody who is truly a realized soul. Otherwise, the body, attachment, karma, mind, etc., will keep them inside the body, suffering and suffering and suffering and suffering. This is not sadly, we must accept that. This is reality. This is true. So here the Bhagavatam 1.9.29 reads that the yogis, the one who achieve perfection, siddhas, they leave the body according to their own pleasure. They say, today I go. Boom. That is called Mahasamadhi. 30. Thereupon Bhishma, who had led on the battlefield thousands of warriors, wound up his speech and exclusively fixed his mind, which was absolutely free from worldly attachments, as well as his eyes, which knew no winking, on Sri Krishna, the prime person who was present before him in his four-armed form, clad in shining yellow robes. 31. The last traces of sin, if any, left in him were obliterated by his concentrate thought on the most holy, and the pain which he felt on account of the arrows piercing his body quickly disappeared at a mere glance of the Lord. Now, while casting off his body, he stopped all the activities, and wandering of his senses, he extolled Lord Janardana Sri Krishna. Bhishma said, "Now, on the eve of my departure from this mortal world, I offer my mind, which is free from all thirst for worldly enjoyment, to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, the foremost of the Yadus, who, while retaining his own blissful character all along, sometimes assumed his own Prakriti Maya in order to carry on his sport, from which flows the stream of creation." 33. May I cherish motiveless love for Sri Krishna, the friend of Vijaya Arjuna, who has assumed a personality charming to the three worlds and dark as the tamal tree, and is clad in excellent robes, brilliant as the rays of the sun, and whose lotus-like countenance has curly locks floating about it. 34. May my mind, body, and soul rest in Sri Krishna, whose face is hymned all round by flowing hair, soiled with the dust raised by the horses' hoofs on the battlefield, and is bedecked with drops of perspiration, and whose skin is being pierced by my sharp arrows, though protected with a shining armor. May I develop love for the friend of Prita's son, Arjuna, who, at the request of his friend, immediately drove and placed his chariot in the middle of the Pandava and the Kaurava hosts, and, planting himself there, cut short the life of the hostile warriors by his very looks. 36. May I be blessed with devotion to the feet of the Supreme Being, who, by imparting spiritual knowledge in the form of the Gita, dispelled the temporary delusion of his friend, one who, on seeing us generals of the Kaurava forces at the van of the hostile army, arrayed at a distance, felt disinclined to kill his own kith and kin because he regarded it as sin. 37. Breaking his own bow, not to take up arms during the Mahabharata war, to fulfill and exalt my vow of compelling him to take up arms, Sri Krishna jumped down from his chariot on which he had taken his seat, and, like a lion that pounces upon an elephant to kill him, darted toward me with a wheel of his chariot in his hand, the heart shaking, the earth shaking under his feet, and his upper garment dropping behind him. 38. Hit with the piercing arrows of a desperado like me, and bathed in blood, and with his armor broken, he who rushed forth to kill me, disregarding the remonstrances of Arjuna, may that Lord Mukunda be my asylum. Jai ho, jai ho. 39. May I, in my last moments, develop love for the Lord, who, having taken upon himself the responsibility to protect the chariot of Vijaya. Interesting that they call Arjuna Vijaya. We're speaking, yes, this is Vaikuntavasi view. Having taken upon himself the responsibility to protect the chariot of Vijaya, took the charioteer's whip in one hand and held the horse's reins in another, and looked most attractive in that charming role, witnessing which, at their last moment, they who fell on this battlefield attain a form similar to this, or Sharupya Mukti, as the scriptures call. Having had the signal honor of enjoying the sight of his charming gait, graceful movements, winsome smiles, and amorous glances during the famous Ras dance at Brindavan, the courtier dresses in their mad ecstasy imitate his play. When Krishna suddenly disappeared from their midst and attained identity with him. 41. In an assembly crowded with hosts of sages and foremost princes during the Rajasuya, sacrifice performed by Yudhishthira, Sri Krishna, who attracted the eyes of them all, had the honor of being worshipped first of all before my very eyes. He, it is He, the soul of the universe, who had appeared before me at this moment. Jai Govinda. 42. Having shaken off the foolish idea of diversity, I have realized that unborn Lord, who thought one, is severally enthroned in the hearts of all embodied creature, brought forth by himself, even as the sun, thought one, appears as many to every eye. Shuta went on, having thus merged his soul with all the activities of his mind, speech, and the visual sense in Sri Krishna. The universal soul, Bhishma expired, his breath being dissolved into the atmospheric air. Perceiving that Bhishma hath entered into the one indivisible Brahman, all those present there become silent, even as birds do at the close of day. 45. Then sounded kettle drums, beaten by the gods and human beings. The pious among the princes shouted applause, and showers of flowers poured from heaven. 46. Having had the funeral and other rites performed in respect of the deceased, O Saunaka, Yudhishthira was plunged in sorrow for some time. 47. The sages who had assembled there extolled Sri Krishna with great delight, uttering his esoteric names, and then, with Sri Krishna in their heart, they returned each to his own hermitage. 48. Thereafter, Yudhishthira, accompanied by Sri Krishna, returned to Hastinapura and comforted his uncle Dhritarashtra, as well as his aunt Gandhari, who was known for her austerity. And 49. Then, permitted by his uncle and with the approval of Sri Krishna, the king ruled over his ancestral kingdom with rightness. Thus ends the ninth discourse entitled Recovery of the Throne by Yudhishthira in Book 1 of the Great and Glorious Bhagavata Purana, otherwise known as Paramahamsa Samhita. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Bhajanitai Gaura Radheshyam Japo Hare Krishna Hare Ram. Bhajanitai Gaura Radheshyam Japo Hare Krishna Hare Ram. Jai Sri Radheshyam, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Thanks for watching.